Hi everyone. I've been battling with the way I wanted to approach this subject. I've spent many hours researching shunning and ostracism, which is like the scientific word for shunning. It's the same thing, ostracism, shunning, to be ostracized, etc. And I decided to put this as a first in a series, since most of you already know what it feels like to be shunned. And we've all been shunned in one way or another, whether it was in grade school, high school, in the workplace. Everyone has had some experience with it, and it's usually a matter of degrees. What many don't know is that studies have been done that show that the shunner does indeed suffer psychological damages from shunning others. These studies have been done because of the high impact on the workplace and in school, kids going to class, etc. But also, the same things also apply to religious organizations, you know, like the Amish, and I know that there are others who, I think, mostly the fundamental Mormons shun, but I have heard of some of it amongst the regular Mormons or LDS. So there's that. And in this case, I'm gearing it mostly towards Jehovah's Witnesses. That's going to be the focus on this. But I just want you to know that it can apply wherever somebody is being shunned or ostracized. So, you know, many think that bullying is far worse than shunning, but studies have shown that shunning is even more painful. And I will discuss what ostracism is in another video, and its pagan roots. There are pagan roots in shunning. And somebody else brought that up in a video. I can't remember who right now. For right now, I think it's more important that those being shunned take some cold comfort in knowing that those who are shunning you are damaging themselves psychologically. So that's why I decided to put this video first, because I know I call it cold comfort, because I know you don't want your loved ones to hurt. But, you know, there's a little part of you that wants them to know this does not feel good. And I wish you knew what it does feel like. Well, there are indications that they do have an idea of what it feels like. Okay, the name of the study that I took most of this from is Hurting You Hurts Me Too, the psychological costs of complying with ostracism. And the complying part is referring to the fact that often we shun because somebody has told us to. In the Jehovah's Witnesses, it might be a watchtower, you know, the governing body, or pressure from the congregation, all those factors together. In school, it might be the bully who's announced that we're all going to ignore so-and-so. And at work, well, you know, at work you meet all kinds of crazies, and sometimes, as childish as it seems, a shunning situation takes place and you know when it's happening, but it's really hard to explain to others that you know for some reason people are ignoring you and you don't know why. So the people who are going along with it are the ones feeling the stress too. It's, you know, there's the person who initiated it, but complying with it because somebody else told you to do it is definitely the most damaging. One of the basic maxims of psychology and sociology is that human beings are social animals. Over and over, it has been proven that all mammals, socializing is important in some manner. And so that's even, you know, dogs, cats, we're all social animals. And it is just as important as food, water, and safety. If we ask or demand that a person be shunned, it goes against the nature of the need to socialize. Mammals generally care about and avoid hurting others. You can see that for the most part, I think, especially with YouTube now, we've seen enough videos to know that animals do take care of one another. Studies have shown that the request or demand to shun triggers the same activities on the nervous system as those being shunned. So when somebody tells you to shun someone, your body reacts in the same manner as when you're being shunned. We all have basic psychological needs that affect our self-motivation, like getting up in the morning. You know, that's self-motivation, you know, unless our mothers are telling us to get up, or fathers, whomever. And, you know, taking a shower. We should, as adults, we should be able to do that without someone telling us to be self-motivated. Eating healthfully. Basically doing like all the things that you have to do to earn a living or to go to school or even to get yourself to the unemployment office. That to get yourself to the unemployment office requires self-motivation. So that's one of our basic needs. To do those things, we have to have 3 needs. So there's 3 needs for the basic need. Number 1 is competence, which is the need to feel useful. We all want to feel useful, but we're somehow contributing to society. Or, if not society, to helping others in one way or another. 2, relatedness, which is the need to feel connected and to care for others. We all need that. And 3, autonomy, the need to feel that your behavior is your own and it's what you want to do. That's one of the 3 basic needs in order for you to feel self-motivated. You have to feel like you own your own behavior. If these needs are not met, you stop growing as a person. You can become very depressed. And I won't go into all the ins and outs of depression. There is a spectrum. You know, you could walk around and manage in everyday life being a little depressed. And I mean in the clinical sense. I don't mean, you know, my boyfriend broke up with me and I'm depressed. I mean, you know, where there's probably like some kind of something going on with your brain chemicals, okay? So there's a spectrum of being depressed, and you know, like the very end of it is, you know, suicide. And then, you know, a lot of people are somewhere in between, and I know some of you have mentioned you have days that you have difficulty leaving the house. Your friend might want to do the most fun thing in the world, and the thought of it is the most exhausting thing to you at all. And it's not because you're sick, but your brain just can't get it together to do it. So there were three groups in the study using cyberball, and I will go into the cyberball study in explaining what cyberball is, but it sounds like what it sounds like. It's playing ball on a computer, and that's how most all of the ostracism studies have been done. And there's a reason for that, and I'll go into that too. But as I say, in this one, I want to concentrate mostly on how shunners are affected. So there were three groups used, and it was the shunners, the shunned, and then there was a neutral group. And the reactions to how they played the cyberball were studied. In the first experiment, it showed that the shunners had high levels of depression and lower levels of autonomy and relatedness. So they definitely felt like they were being told what to do, and they didn't feel that connection to others. Well, that's the shunners. In experiment 2, it showed that the shunners felt more guilt and shame than those being shunned. The shunned felt more anger, and justifiably so. And these two groups felt far more distress than the neutral group. So there was a significant difference in the outcome. Statistically, it made a difference. Okay, so both the shunners and the shunnies are more likely to experience alienation, depression, helplessness, and unworthiness. And the bottom line is, if you are shunning someone, you are not only hurting that person, but you are causing great damage to yourself. And in the end, it will make it more difficult for you to keep complying with the wishes of those who ask or demand you to shun. So think about that. If you're the mom who shreds up the son's letter and mails it back, or you're the mom who receives a letter from your son and sends it back unopened, or you're the grandmother who basically tells your granddaughter you don't ever want to see her again, or you're the teenager who is ignoring someone at your congregation, one sitting in the back row, because you've been told not to speak to them because of something they supposedly did, because you never really know 100% for a fact what they did, because that's not really revealed to you unless the person tells you what happened. You, the shunner, have stopped your emotional growth So when you get that feeling, and I'm talking to the Shunners, when you get that feeling, gee whiz, you know, I just don't feel like taking a shower today. Or gee whiz, you know, I just don't feel like doing any grocery shopping. I don't feel like doing any laundry. Stop and think. What might be the cause of that? Could it be because you just deleted that email from your daughter? Think about it. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. If you thought it was too simplistic, let me know. If you thought it was over your head, let me know. I really don't know. I'm just trying to give you some helpful information here. And like as I say, I don't want, you know, there's a part of me that does want Shunners to feel bad. Of course I want them to feel bad. But I'd rather see happy families who can get together and talk, and maybe not talk about religious things or what have you, but there are so many beautiful things in the world that people can discuss, or even unbeautiful things, and to commiserate about things. And that's what I'm trying to get across here. So let me know, leave comments, and be sure to share it, pass it around. Okay, thanks guys.